Welcome back to the Sports News Analysis YouTube channel. My name is Mike. Now, I haven't done a Mets video here in a while, so I thought I'd take some time to just touch base on my thoughts on the Mets road trip, some concerns I have coming off that road trip about the club, and then my thoughts on Zack Wheeler and Travis d'Arnaud. They had some news regarding them here in the last couple days, and obviously talk a little bit about the Harvey Strasburg matchup tomorrow night. But first, with this road trip, the Mets go 3-5 on the road trip. They play 3 in Philly. Okay, they lost 2 out of 3. Then they won 2 games against the Twins, and then they drop 3 games, of course, against the Rockies. And specifically the series against the Twins and the Rockies. With the weather, the Mets had to play through, whether it was snow, rain, frigid temperatures. Again, I don't think it's a good sample of games to sort of judge the team by. I didn't think they reacted well to playing in the conditions, both from an offensive, defensive, and pitching standpoint. But these should be unprecedented conditions as far as what they'll see the rest of the season as we get into May, June, July, and the temperature, hopefully, if you live in the Northeast, warms up a little bit. But some things that were concerning me, though, as I watched these games was Ruben Tejada. We know Tejada does not like to play in the cold. I don't think anyone likes to play in the cold. But even before they got to the cold weather, his defense was a problem this season. Tejada is a good enough hitter where if he's playing good defense, you can live with his hitting. If he's not performing on a defensive end or in a defensive, at shortstop, it's really tough to watch him, to be honest, because he's not a good enough hitter for you to forget about his defense. And a lot of the errors he makes are everyday plays we've seen him make a million times. And I'm starting to become a little concerned about Tejada, mainly because the front office was not happy with him at the beginning of spring training, and maybe we're seeing why. And I hope it's something that gets nipped in the bud and he can come back and have a good homestand, as the Mets, have a homestand now against the Nats, the Dodgers, and of course the Phillies. So again, please snap out of it, Ruben. Ike Davis is another guy I wish would snap out of it. It's becoming a yearly thing here now with him getting off to slow starts. Yes, he rebounded last year and had 32 home runs and 90 RBIs, but it's no saying he's going to do it again. I heard comparisons to Mark Teixeira. Look, I like Ike Davis, but he's not Mark Teixeira from a consistency standpoint. If you look at the career numbers Teixeira has, Ike Davis is nowhere near that. And I think it's an insult to Mark Teixeira to compare Ike Davis to him, to be honest. Ike Davis, what if he has a slow start and then is slow the second half of the year? That wouldn't surprise me. I'd like to see him get off to better starts. He's a great guy. He's a great attitude, but he's got to find a way to snap out of these early season slumps. So I'm a bit concerned about him. And obviously, I'm majorly concerned with the starting pitching rotation. Neese and Harvey, I think are your only 2 constants there. I don't think I'm breaking any news there. But as you saw today with Neese, and I'm sure Harvey will have his bad days, they're not going to win every game. And to put that much pressure on those 2 guys, I think is unfortunate when the last 3 guys you have, Dylan G is probably a major league pitcher, a 5th starter on a good team. But Laffey and Hefner, look, these guys are, I think they're good guys. I think they're trying hard, but they can't be on your roster if you're a team that has aspirations of winning. And I think that's the situation the Mets are in now. And, I'll get to my feelings on Zack Wheeler in a second, but, definitely frustrating to watch those last 3 guys in the rotation go out there, and it's a very slim chance the Mets can win games where they pitch, especially, I think it's going to become increasingly more frustrating for Met fans as we have a couple turns around the rotation. So hopefully G can find his stride, because I think he is a major league pitcher, and hopefully we can get some replacements for Hefner and, of course, Laffey. But now Travis d'Arnaud, want to get into here for a second as well. He breaks his foot. What that's going to do now is sort of just delay him coming up to the majors. He's got to rest his foot, obviously, heal it. Then he's got to come back. Then he's got to start playing every day. Then he's got to be at a good production level, and then we'll see Travis d'Arnaud. And, I'm not really bummed out, because I think the Mets need a catcher right now as far as the d'Arnaud injury goes, because obviously John Buck is playing fantastic. I'm just bummed out because I think the Mets are in need of good players, and I think it's obvious if you watch them play. They don't have enough quality players that you look at as saying, okay, that's going to be a good player on a good team. He's that kind of guy. He's here. He's a quality major league starter. The Mets don't have many of those guys, okay? And I think d'Arnaud is going to be one of them. And if Buck is hitting when Darno is planning on coming up, they'll find a spot for John Buck to play. There's plenty of positions. How much worse could he be in the outfield than Lucas Duda? If Ike Davis isn't playing, maybe they move him to first. If playing well, maybe they move him to first. You always can find a spot for a bat in a lineup. So that's why I'm a little frustrated about Darno. I know he can't do anything about it, but it's now he I worry too he may be becoming one of these guys that's injury prone. But again, just from the perspective of getting another bat in the lineup, I'm a little frustrated about Darno. But hey, there's really nothing you can do about it. Now the whole Zack Wheeler situation. Terry Collins obviously made some news this week by saying, he wanted to see Darno come up to the big club. And I'm completely on board with Terry. I mean, to state that you're going to bring Wheeler up June 1st, I mean, I think that has to do with why he's not pitching that well in AAA. This guy can't wait to get to the major leagues. He knows he's coming. It's just a matter of time. And I think he's bored with the minor leagues. I think the guy is going to be dynamite in the pros. So let's see him. I mean, what you're going to get from the Mets fans and I always get cracked up by fans who all of a sudden worry about saving money. In baseball, it's a non-issue. And, since the collapses of '07 and '08, the Madoff nonsense, the rebuilding under Alderson, as Met fans, we've been told to be patient and wait, which I think we've done. And, I think I'm a little bit more agitated about the Wheeler situation now because I know we're not going to get to see Darno here in the next couple of months. But Wheeler, we've been waiting to see him. There's a need for starting pitching, as I just went over, a very serious need for starting pitching. Let's bring the guy up. I'm not interested in saving money 6 or 7 years down the line. The Wilpons, in my mind, after the whole Madoff scandal, coming out this offseason and saying you have money and then you don't spend it on players, I'm not really interested in what I need to do as a fan to save the Wilpons more money. Bring the guy up. There's a need at the position. Your manager wants him. Let's see what he has. Again, I might be impatient. It might not be the best thing for the Mets or for Wheeler, but it's just how I feel on the matter. Let's get the guy up here and see what he can do. Lastly, the Harvey Strasburg matchup tomorrow night. Look, wonderful matchup. The Mets return home to play the Nationals, who gave it to the Mets last year. I mean, the Nationals completely dominated the Mets. The Nationals are thought to be one of, if not the best team in the National League. Obviously, the Braves playing very well as of now as well. But, dynamite matchup. Two of the best right-handed young pitchers in Major League Baseball. Harvey obviously off to the scintillating start. I think it'll be a good measure for him pitching against not Strasburg, but the Nationals lineup. And we'll see how they try to attack him as Harvey's looked virtually unhittable here in his first 3 starts. So, again, looking forward to tomorrow night, which I wish it was a game I could go to. Unfortunately, I can't. But be sure, 7:10 on SNY, home game against Strasburg and the Nationals. Be sure to check it out. I'll do a video tomorrow night after the game and let you know my thoughts on how Harvey performed and how the Mets played as a whole. But thanks for listening, guys. Let me know your feelings on the recent Mets road trip and some of the issues I discussed, whether it's Darno, Wheeler, the concerns about Tejada and Ike Davis. Hit me up in the YouTube comments. Hit me up on Twitter at SNewsAnalysis. Guys, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I upload Mets videos all the time, videos about the NFL. So be sure to subscribe. Thanks again for listening, and have a great day.